The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, the men of renown. Now, the book of Enoch goes into a lot of detail about fallen angels, who they were and what they did. It says that they landed the Watchers. The Watchers are a class of angels. You know, we got archangels, you got seraphim and cherubim, different classes of angels that we're aware of from the scriptures. The Watchers is another class. It's actually mentioned in the book of Daniel. That particular class is mentioned, I think, in chapter 7, if I remember right. But the book of Enoch goes into a lot more detail. Talks about the class 200 angels or Watchers who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. That's where they landed to do what I call the Genesis 6 experiment. And it gives the names of about 20 of them. And Semjaza was the leader of all of them. What we're about to do, I know it's not going to go over well, and I have a feeling I'm going to go through with it, but you guys aren't going to follow through with me. And everybody else said, no, we're with you. And they all took a vow together to go through with the plan, and that's why it was called Mount Hermon, based on their mutual oath that was taken there. There's a name that's not listed there. He's listed in another passage by the name of Azazel. Azazel is named as the worst of all of those fallen angels that participated in Genesis 6. Azazel was said to have taught the art of digging up metals from the earth and creating weapons for warfare. He created the art of war, if you will. And a lot of this stuff, the angels were teaching the humans things that God didn't want them to know. And a lot of bad things were happening. The whole creation was becoming corrupt. So the good archangels, we know of at least 2 from the 66 books, Gabriel and Michael, right? But a lot of the other Hebrew texts talk about 2 others, Uriel and Raphael. Raphael was told by God to bind Azazel in chains and bury him in a place called Dudael, where he shall remain until the time of judgment, and ascribe all sin to Azazel. Well, that's very interesting, because when you get into the Torah and you look in Leviticus, I think it's Leviticus 16 if I remember right, where they're doing the sacrifice and they send the scapegoat out. It says, depending on your translation, send them out to Azazel. They were sending the goat out to the one that God said ascribe all sin to Azazel. The other scripture we're familiar with, Isaiah 1:18, I believe, though my sins be as scarlet, they are made white as snow. We're also familiar with that one. That actually comes from the practice of the scapegoat. They would tie a scarlet ribbon around the horns of the scapegoat, cut a piece of it off, send the goat out to Azazel, and take that piece and put it on the temple door. And overnight, supernaturally, it would change from scarlet red to pure white. And it would show them that God had accepted their sacrifice. It approved. Now, interesting thing about that is for 40 years leading up to the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, it did not turn white. Track back 40 years from the destruction of the temple, and what do you got? You got Yeshua. Where God's saying, okay, I'm done with that system. I've sent my sacrificial lamb. Forget it.